Okay, Maria, why the zone? Why did you pick the zone?
So when I started working about the zone, I was thinking about how globalization and global economic systems have a translation into our everyday lives and spaces. And I was working loads about these zones as infrastructural space. But I think with the pandemic, that changed a bit. And it ended up being kind of like space to inhabit and go to visit to when other spaces were close to us.
Yeah, you mentioned spaces, and in your writings you mentioned the importance of the space between the spaces. What do you mean by that space between? Why is that important to you?
So I think what I meant by space between spaces had a lot to do with displacement and being able to inhabit those spaces in a different way, not just going to work or going to hospital or going to the supermarket. That I think that was something that happened a lot with the pandemic, but also just having the choice and the freedom to go and have a stroll and wandering around these places, and how that in some way make us think about which is our actual place in those spaces. Mm-hmm. So I think it has a lot to do with that in some way, and also how space and places and contexts change by our presence there. Because I do think like cities are built up by our activity in those places. So yeah, I think it's a bit like that.
Yeah, our presence in the spaces. You mentioned also in your work that we leave a little bit of ourselves in the space that we occupy. Mm-hmm. What do we leave behind?
So when I think about it in an abstract way, I'm thinking about contexts and how on a street is not just on a street, but the people we encounter there, which are the businesses that develop their activities there, which is underneath the grounds and we don't see, and all those stuff. But I do think that movement and habit in those places have a lot to do as well with our memory. Mm-hmm. And how we build up our history, our desires, our loans, and our present time and our future as well. So yeah, I'd say like there is a lot of practice involved in what we think they're like just like normal or like everyday places.